humanitarian, well, those people are all famous. And that's true, they're all famous. But again, if it's your perception of your experience with somebody, that could be the person that parks your car when you valet park it. It could be somebody that waits on you at a restaurant.
You never know.
It's anybody that you can encounter, anybody that you experience. And Disney is famous for this. You know, Disney calls their employees cast members, and it's really all about the experience. So I find it very funny that when they're asked about who their competition is, and most people would think it would be, you know, Universal Studios, right, or something like that, they say no, FedEx. And you say, FedEx? Why would you think FedEx is your competition? They say, because FedEx creates a perception of what customer service should be. And so anybody that's creating a customer service perception, we view that as a high standard that we're competing against in the service that we are providing to our customers.
Well, it's interesting you talk about brand, because when I think about you and your reputation or your brand, you know, I think nice guy. I think very helpful, concerned about young people, especially concerned about athletes. I know you spend a lot of time with athletes because sometimes they get bad advice and they have misguided ideas about what they should be doing, or they're shooting too low in their career. And so I think you've really done a good job managing your brand. Not that you've done it in order to have that brand, but that's just who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I just genuinely like helping people, so, you know, it goes back to sort of my values, my beliefs. You know, as a Christian, I believe that we're here to help other people along the way, and you know, if somebody shows up on my doorstep and gets referred to me by somebody else or hears about me some way, if it's possible, I'm going to try and help them however I can. Now, you know, I don't have all the answers either, just like anybody else, but yeah, if it's a student, if it's an alumnus, if it's you know, a staff member, I try to help these people in any way I can. Sometimes, you know, when you sort of put your shingle out, not that I have a shingle out, but when you put your shingle out that's your brand, then you might get some bizarre questions coming your way. You know, you never know what you're going to be fielding, but yeah, that makes it interesting too in its own right.
Well, your wife tells me that because of your willingness to help other people and to be friendly and be nice, that usually during football weekends, your house is a bed and breakfast.
It is.
Now, is this right? She tells me she actually has to walk over bodies in the morning sometimes, that there are so many people staying there. Is this true?
It is true, and it's amazing how popular South Bend becomes in the fall. Not so much in the summer,
your house,
not so much in the winter, but yeah, our house. We've had situations where we've had people come to stay with us for various games and fully expected them to be there, and there with an invitation and permission, whatever you want to call it, and you come down in the morning and there's 2 new people sleeping in the living room that you're looking to see, who is that guy? I've never seen him before. So yeah, it gets a little bit of a bunkhouse atmosphere at times. But
I have to say, I've never seen anybody who has a network like yours, who just by being who you are, you're connected with so many different people. You just don't have any fear of getting to know people.
Yeah, I think that, I know this is going to sound like bragging, but when Bush was in, I tell people this story, not for me, but so they can learn if I can do it, they can do it. But when President Bush was in the White House, I was 2 phone calls removed from speaking to the President of the United States. And I've never met him, but I know people that I could have talked with him within 2 phone calls. And now that President Obama is in the White House, I'm 3 phone calls away from talking to the President of the United States. So, and I'm a regular guy, I come from a small town. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's great. Well, so can you think of any other students or any other people in your life that maybe have been great influences? I know your dad has.
Yeah, both my parents. Yeah, both my parents, and of course my wife. You know, when you marry the right person, hopefully that's going to be an important decision.
Your wife is a saint as far as I'm concerned.
As far as I'm concerned too.
Well, what you don't know about Bill is that he is a practical joker, and he's always joking around with people. He's always pulling some kind of a kind of a prank, and often his poor wife is the result of that. Now, tell me, you went to do a Notre Dame night. Now, for those of you who don't know a Notre Dame night, it's where the Notre Dame Club has a big dinner or banquet, and they invite one of us to come and speak.
They do.
And so you went there to speak, and you told them what? This was about the.
Oh, there were some people that asked about a specific program that my wife happens to work at, and I told them that I could put them in touch with exactly the right person because she was the luckiest woman in the world. And the and the young lady, and the whole audience thought it was very funny. There was a lot of laughter. And the young lady, literally, who I gave my wife's contact information to, called her the very next day and relayed the story that I had called her the luckiest woman in the world. So before I arrived back in South Bend from Colorado Springs, the word had already gotten back, and I was already in trouble.
Well, and I understand that you also told one of the groups that you won a special award, correct? About like the greatest husband in the world award. Or something like that.
I that same group actually.
Was it?
I told them I've been married to the luckiest woman in the world for 25 years, and she refers to me as husband of the year, or Hody. And I also told them that I was running out of wall space for all the plaques that I had given myself, to the point where I was going to have to build an addition on my house. And they thought that was very funny as well. So yeah, I think when you work with people, work is work, and you have to have a serious side, but humor can be a great vehicle for bringing people together. And Mark, you and I are close friends. I know that both of us use humor a great deal in the things that we do to engage with other people. So I enjoy that part.
Humor is really important.
It is.
It really is. If you're not going to have a good time at work or in your life, and you can't joke around, I really love the times that we spend together, because we're always busting each other's chops, okay? That's the truth, and when we have a good time at it. But you can only do that with people that you're really close to.
You bet.
You can't do it with strangers so much. You got to make sure you establish that relationship.
That's right. You have to do it. You have to do it with people that you like and respect.
Yeah, you do, and
that's
it has to
important.
be a mutual thing, right?
Exactly.
And so we do have a good time, and working at Notre Dame has been a phenomenal experience for me, and I know you've been there 13 years.
13
right?
years.
But before that, can we talk about your life before that a little bit?
Certainly.
Because I'm interested in, how do you go from being, pretty well thought of college basketball player to the beer business to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Why would you come to Notre Dame after being an entrepreneur and all of that?
Well, I had a very good run of about, I guess it was about 10 years in the startup phase of the microbrew business. So when things were just sort of getting cooking in the 90s, there's a great deal of sort of local brews and beer pubs and all that kind of thing now. But when it was really going in the 90s, I was right in the middle of that. I was a partner in a business called the Brooklyn Brewery in Brooklyn, New York. I was a partner. I was a senior leader of a brewery called Pete's Brewing Company out of Palo Alto, California, and had a great deal of experience and a great education from that experience, great deal of success, and the battle scars to prove for the success, because anybody that's run a startup business knows how hard it is. We literally had a 560 square foot apartment with 4 phone lines running into it, a fax line on top of the microwave in the apartment. It was crazy. It was really crazy.
It was exciting.
It was exciting. I was working about 20 hours a day. I never saw my wife. But it was a growth experience for both of us. And after that, I went with the world's largest food company. I went to work with Nestle. And I was with Nestle a couple years, and every so often, maybe 18 months or 2 years, I was getting more responsibility, more of a promotion throughout my career. And I got to a certain level at Nestle where I looked to my left, and this person had an accounting degree as an undergrad. I looked to my right, and this person had a marketing degree as an undergrad, and I was a history major, and I just came to realize that I need to get some classical training in this.
There's nothing wrong with historians here, pal,
I was a history major,
right?
and you are into history too. I know. So we ended up deciding to come to Notre Dame because they had a one-year MBA program, and the intent was to get that educational training and go directly back into business. And unfortunately, I had a medical issue at the time.
You did have a medical issue. You had a brain tumor, right?
I had a non-malignant brain tumor, yeah. So I graduated from Notre Dame on May 20th, 2001.
No, wait a minute. Before you go there,
Yeah.
they have to know that you found out about it at the beginning of the program.
I did, yeah. I found out
you decided
about
to go through it
the
anyway.
year to come here anyway, yes. I had the top surgeon in the world out of Boston handling my case, and he gave us permission with certain hoops that we had to jump through every month to come and do the one-year program. And I graduated in May 20th, 2001, went to Boston in late June to have the surgery. Had the surgery successfully, stayed in the Northeast for about a month or so. Came back here in August, hadn't even looked for a job because I didn't know ethically how to deal with the pending brain surgery. And came back here and just started to have the dust settle, and then September 11th happened. So it wasn't a great time to be looking for a job
Right.
anywhere. The economy was retracting, and so God has His own plan,
He does.
and it wasn't what I intended, but
Well,
it's
thank
His
God
plan.
you're at Notre Dame because you've done a lot of good here, and I know that we've really, I've enjoyed having you there. I've been there 5 years, and I can truly say that you probably become my best friend there.
Well, thank
and
you.
I really appreciate all of
you.
your efforts and your the way you treat people and the way you treat students. And I think that Notre Dame is a much better place having you there. In fact, I have to tell everybody that Bill actually basically saved one of my programs because one of our people, a couple of our instructors became ill, and he stepped in and just took over. And I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for him. And that's the kind of person he is. So, Bill, thank you for coming and joining us and sharing fire. I've had a great 30 minutes here, and we'll have you back again. We're going to have more stories. How's that?
Great, thanks. I
All right,
appreciate it.
thank
Enjoy
you.
being here.
All right, buddy.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.
And this is Marc Hardy for Sharing Fire, and this is about the giving people the tools to help them create a better life. And we hope you're out there doing that for other people, and we hope you're thanking the people that did it for you, and you're regifting the good that you have been given. So take care.